Sorry, I'm late.
Hello, sir.
That's everybody then.
So, last we left off, we had just finished up with the Bone Naga, right? The Bone Medusa.
Bone Medusa, yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
correct.
We defeated her over yonder. And then I
So
think
we've still got the big building that I'm guessing some kind of market to explore.
or a palace. Looks like a palace to me because you've got the guards here.
True. I was looking at it, and the formation just reminded me so much of the market from Hercules, the Disney movie.
Yeah.
I wonder how low that
Just
is
shape-wise, the palace makes a
It
bit
actually
more
hurts me
sense.
Sometimes when people talk. I'm not sure.
At this point, it feels like priority is finding more of those items of the strange material,
Like I'm like turning down.
so that we can find a way to open our way into the
But I don't feel
other
it's
plane
actually
where
turning it
Kwalish is
down.
at.
I don't know.
That's right. How many do we have so far?
You guys have two.
Two. Okay.
We have
There's
the
a
lens and
lens. And what was the other one?
Mace Head.
Mace head, that's right.
You guys ready?
Yeah, I think so. Are we missing somebody?
Barrage will be here in a couple minutes. He said he's gonna be about 10 minutes late. So we're gonna go
Oh, okay.
start without him. So last session you guys began exploring Daoine Gloine. You were the city of glass people. All throughout the town, you see that there are these kind of scenarios set up of glass statues that look very similar to human beings, kind of in just everyday life. They're walking down the street, they're chatting with one another, they're playing in playgrounds. They're just kind of set up as if they're living there, even though they're statues. You decided to start flying around after you dealt with a mechanical kraken that had attacked you. The first place you flew was the observatory in the southwest, or southeast even. There you discovered a few more statues. Upon closer inspection, you realize all the statues seem to either have a look of reverence or a look of horror on their face. In particular, there was one that was looking into the telescope with a look of horror. You investigated the telescope and realized that it was kind of projecting these really beautiful rainbow-like colors, and ultimately you discovered that the lens of the telescope was very similar to the glass of the statues, except that it reflected light, or refracted light, instead of being see-through like all the glass was. You tried to restore the astronomer back to life, but when you greater restoration him, you realized that he had been dead of starvation for many, many years. So you figure you probably can't turn the glass statues back to life very easily. Taking your newfound lens, you decide to explore the Colosseum. There you discovered another Babel reflecting light in the mace of the soldiers, or in the soldier's mace head. Using some spells, you're able to retrieve it from the goo below. And you finally flew to the warehouse. And there you discovered the head of the Kraken, and a bunch of experiments of babblings of Kwalish and what he had worked on. Opening the head of the Kraken, you discovered a jellied Kinku inside, who may be known as the Priestess. You disconnected her from the Kraken, and when you did, you heard the sounds of a lot of things kind of powering down in the nearby area. And using kind of the instructions throughout the warehouse, you're able to actually build yourself an apparatus of Kwalish, this kind of crab-like apparatus that you can use to explore the oozy areas below the ooze level. You don't have to fly around anymore. So the first place you decided to explore is you headed straight to the temple. There you discovered a dome of glass statues at the head of the temple, which is made entirely of glass bodies interwoven with one another. You're able to kind of move and shift some of them apart in order to make a hole big enough that you could climb down in. When you did, you were immediately met with what you suspected all along, a Medusa. This Medusa turns people into glass instead of stone, and you fought and killed her. She was undead, made completely of skeletons, and rambling hysterically and maniacally. So last we finished, you guys had just destroyed the Medusa. You explored the area a bit. You found some strange mechanical items. A couple things of note here are there is a window-like glass pane on one wall. There are kind of murals all over the walls of this temple, and the lowest level of the temple is in.
What was the last thing you said? You cut out.
The lowest levels of the temple are encased in ooze. Well, they're filled with ooze, I should say. So, what would you guys like to do?
First thing, could I throw like a cloth or something over the Medusa's head just in case it retains its ability to turn things to glass?
Absolutely. You grab a cloth from somewhere and you throw it over her head so her eyes are no longer exposed to the outside world.
Very wise choice, my friend.
And then, let's say we look around and see if we can find any more of those baubles.
I would like to approach the. You said it was a glass curtain or glass wall, essentially.
It looks like a window, but it's not see-through.
I'd like to approach it and see if I, have my reflection. Just kind of see if things about my reflection, see if it seems solid without touching it.
So you approach the window. The first thing you notice is that your image doesn't reflect. You see no reflection of yourself on it. And in fact, it almost looks like a swirling mist. You can't see through it. You can't see off of it. And around the outside edge of it, you see there's this strange kind of mechanical filigree that lines the edge. You see that more of these wire-like apparatuses you'd seen back in the Cult's island thing that you sunk. And they're kind of woven in this frame all around this window-like device.
What do you guys think? Should we maybe toss something into it and see what happens?
Hopefully something not strong
We think
enough to shatter the glass, but yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Do we think it is magical of some sort?
Oh, completely silly question that we haven't done. Did we check the area for loot?
Yeah, you guys found all the loot at the end of last session. I just said you found some cool mechanical, like, boots and something else.
Gotcha.
I remember the boots. I would like to grab, I'm assuming there's rubble on the ground, like a piece of stone or something. Bring my shield up just in case, and then gently toss the stone into the center of the mist.
You throw the stone at the window-like device, and it dink and bounces back towards you.
That was interesting.
Are we below? We're not below the ooze line, right?
No, this is actually on this layer, this upper floor. Here, this isn't even downstairs at all. This is up the area you've climbed down into.
Motete, why don't you come out of the apparatus? I think we've nullified the threat for this time. Could you utilize your arcane skills to discern maybe a way to operate this thing that Gerhard is looking at?
I can take a look.
Where, in reference to us, is it?
It's about here on the map. Oh, I am on GM layer. There we go.
We'll help him investigate it if I can.
Yeah, give me help or investigation check with advantage.
I'll help.
So with the 16, you explore kind of the edge of this window-like object. You notice that there are a few buttons and switches along one of the edges. You kind of mess with them a bit, and without realizing it, you flick a switch and the whole mist clears instantly. Suddenly it appears exactly like a window, as if you're seeing through it. On the other side of the window, you see a laboratory.
Oh?
The laboratory has an elaborate system of glass piping and alchemic equipment that kind of flows and bubbles. You see, like, liquid is running through all of the glass piping and stuff to various other forms of liquid. There's a fire running underneath one of the vials. On the far wall of the laboratory are 5 clear canisters. Each of them appears to be holding hearts that are beating. Doo-dun, doo-dun, doo-dun. Next to those 5 clear canisters is one large canister that looks like it's filled with purple fluid. And floating inside that purple fluid, you see a mind flayer appears to be trapped inside this tank. On a different wall, you see that there's the large, like very large set of plate armor with quite a lot of wires, and a bunch of the pipes are running into it. And it's just sitting there looking over the laboratory. Other than the mind flayer, there don't appear to be anybody living or alive within the laboratory.
Grandma would like to burn a divine sense just to make sure.
Yeah, you do a divine sense. You sense that the dead Medusa behind you was definitely undead. And Grandma, above you, you actually sense another undead. Up towards
I
the
look up.
entrance that you just climbed in through of the dome.
I look up.
You see a bat hanging from the entrance of the dome.
Boys, we got some company up here.
That
That's not a
mother.
normal bat.
I see it. I have a bad flashback, and I fire.
Seems our friend has returned.
Actually, you also sense a fae up there.
Which would be the lady.
Exactly. Go ahead and roll initiative then, I guess.
How dare
I'm killing
they?
him. I am killing him. He will die. He made it personal. But that not with that initiative roll though.
Out of curiosity, since Gerhardt was looking into the room and not looking up at the bat, did he notice that the Mind Flayer appeared alive or unable to tell?
The mind flayer is kind of floating, suspended within the purple liquid of the tank that it's in.
Okay.
It's definitely alive, but it doesn't seem to be like moving or anything like that. It's just
Right, or not like looking around or.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're just gonna go ahead and move him there because you guys already guessed who it
Rabbit
is.
pads. I mean, I didn't know. I just assumed.
Remar, you pull out your bow as Grandma calls us out. You pull back, and as you do, Motete, you see this. What would you like to do?
Um,
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to cast Dragon's Breath
So the dome.
on.
The dome. Oh, okay. Yeah, the dome is like 60 feet up, I think.
Okay, I'm going to cast Dragon's Breath on my familiar.
Okay.
That's cool.
Who you cast it on? I'm sorry.
My familiar.
Okay.
My right. I don't think it's on. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's up there.
There you go.
Uh,
And then
Go ahead.
I'm going to hold a chill touch if they get closer.
Okay, so what type of breath are you giving the creature?
Lightning.
Lightning. So you reach up and you stroke Sharon's back, and as you do, Sharon kind of caw, and lightning kind of crackles out of his beak when you do that. What was the other thing you said you're doing? I'm sorry.
I'm holding chill touch cantrip, and if they make a move to attack us, then I'll use it.
Okay. Misty.
Okay.
Are we killing them?
At
I
that
should
question,
have-
Rimmer says, "I'm going to."
They certainly attacked us without question.
Oh, that's not a 18 to hit the bat.
18 or 17?
I have advantage because they haven't taken a turn yet. So,
Ah.
but I don't have bless, so it's 18.
18 will hit the bat.
Okay, 21 points of damage.
So you shoot up. As you do, it pierces this bat's wing, blows right into some of the glass statues behind it as it was hanging upside down. It lets out a screech. And it takes 21 piercing damage.
It does.
Anything
And
else?
I will go do something. Yes, I will go do something. I will try to hide somewhere. I'll go hide over here.
It's an action.
What are the spells that are currently affecting people at the moment?
I think our bless is over, I assume.
Yeah, I think Bus would be done at this point.
Yeah, you guys kind
Okay.
of like explored and found some magical items and stuff. So I'd say since bless only lasts a minute, it would be gone.
Okay, just trying to keep track.
At that, the bat immediately transforms. And you see, hanging on the wall above you is Centimere the vampire. And he goes, "Well, it looks as if you have discovered me." He climbs down the wall a bit to the edge. And
Oh, it was over there. I would have gone hide somewhere else, but
he comes climbing down anyways. He was up on the dome technically, but I'm having him climb down the wall here. At the same time, a cat comes jumping through the dome above. You recognize it immediately as Mary Greymalkin's cat. It comes leaping down. As it does, you see that the fur of the cat kind of penetrates off her back and forms the tall Ladrin female that you had recognized before. She kind of falls down and lands softly at her feet here. She kind of appears in a mist as she has misty stepped down. She lands there. She immediately looks at I'm gonna actually have her land there. She's not within 5 feet. She immediately looks at Gerhardt and she's going to Eldritch Blast Gerhardt. Cantrips are 5th level. They jump up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So she's gonna Eldritch Blast you twice, Gerhardt.
Alright.
Both of those miss.
Miss.
Grand roll.
Yeah.
Oh, I come out of the machine and I see her attacking now like that. Oh jeez,
22 will definitely hit.
it's just 19.
19 will still also definitely hit. All right, 24 will also hit. If you walk up, you just bash her in the head. Two for 23 bludgeoning damage. She lets out a scream. And then she turns to you and she goes, You Your fate has been sealed.
Uh-oh. End of turn.
That's the warhorse's turn then.
Alright, so she's the only one that's on the ground, is that correct?
Yeah, Centimeter's about 30 feet up. He's hanging on the side of the wall. He has spider climb.
Okay. Warhorse is going to come right about there. Oh, and out of curiosity, since Centimere is or was a bat, and Mary, I think her name is, was briefly a cat, would they both be considered shape changers? For the sake of Moonbeam?
If you use Moonbeam, you would know.
Okay. The Warhorse is going to just do a normal moves attack against Mary for 12. Or a hit attack for 12. Or, did a 12 hit?
A 12 will miss.
Okay, that's its turn.
Yeah, so the warhorse tries to kick, and you see that she dodges a little bit to the side. She almost seems to float. Time slows down around her, it seems, and it just kick moves right in front of her face as if she had seen it coming. Remarks, you had been holding your action to shoot at this thing. You were ready to fire an arrow, and as you pulled out your thing, they immediately jumped down. What would you like to do now?
So as I put an arrow into my bow, I hear these whispers in Elvish that make no sense to me because I don't speak Elvish. But for some reason, words come to my mind, and I issue my man phrase, "Swift death to you who have wronged me," and I designate the vampire as my sworn enemy for my oath bow.
Okay.
Now means I have advantage on all attacks against him with the oath bow.
Okay.
And I will fire at him.
Uh,
20 will hit.
20 will hit.
And then I'll roll the additional d6.
God,
25 points of damage, and then I'll look to fly up behind the pillar again and bonus action hide.
5d6 for an oath bow?
3d6 for the oath bow, 2d6 for my sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
Yep. Yeah.
Which
he
is-
takes 25 points of damage then.
Which will be
pretty awesome.
proc every time I attack with oath bow because of the advantage granted.
Yeah. Clever,
And
clever.
then 16 on stealth. And end of turn.
At the end of your turn, he climbs down another 30 feet. He's going to come down and plop down next to Tulip here. As a legendary action. Gerhardt.
Oh, no, I didn't even roll initiative for you.
I'm gonna use half my movement to hop on my warhorse. And sorry, hold on. If I'm on the warhorse, am I within range of her, or do I need to be up here?
You occupy the entire space of your mount.
Okay, just for the sake of putting my token there. Alright, so I'm on my warhorse. I draw my sword, whisper my command word, and it bonus action command word. The sword ignites in flame. And then I'm going to swing and strike at her with my sword twice. 17 and a 27.
Really have nothing? Yeah, both of those will hit.
Nice. Okay, so then, what is that? 16, 18 damage on the first one. And
20 on the second.
yeah.
So you strike into her. The first one, she lets out a scream. Ah! He watches her arm kind of disintegrates. And as you hit with the second one, she disappears in a puff of black cat hair. You see sitting at her feet, standing there, is the cat with red eyes.
Take that, I guess. So the cat is alive?
The cat is still standing there, yes.
Okay. And then that's my turn because I can't move.
Okay. Motete. That's back to you.
I'm going to use my held action to use Chill Touch on the vampire.
Oh, yeah. You had hold an action. So, yeah, the 20 will definitely hit on the vampire.
Nice.
Okay.
For
And
9
then-
necrotic damage, and he can't heal.
And then I am going to, on my turn, see.
He did actually heal at the beginning of his turn. Hadn't been hostile just
I'm gonna cast Magic Missile on him. Gonna use 3 charges on my staff.
yet. Okay.
He I guess another
It's supposed to be a
2d4.
third level. What? Yeah.
Alright.
So that is 18 points of force damage. You just let these out. They go straight into the vampire. He lets out a yell. Ugh! As he takes another 18 points of damage.
Then I send my familiar, have him breathe on him.
Sharon goes over and immediately breathes out a lightning breath. And you guys see as this raven opens his mouth and this cackling image of lightning bolt just shrieks out into Centimere. He's actually resistant to necrotic. I forgot about that. He didn't take quite that much. And he takes 7 points of lightning.
Okay.
So he actually only took
Enter.
4 points. Heal for 5. There we go. Okay. Misty.
I will shoot at the bad vampire bat person. 29, assuming I was hidden. I don't know if I was with the 16.
You were not. His passive perception is higher than that, so he does know you're there. So there's only.
And I'm
12.
sure I missed. Then I'm sure I missed.
Yeah, and a 12 will miss.
Then I'm sure I missed. Okay. And I will try to. I'll use my feline agility to run over here because I didn't know he was over there, and then I will try to hide again.
Okay. Go ahead and do a stealth check. Now you're stealth.
That's it.
At
That's
the end of your turn, he's going to take a bite action against Tulip.
No.
No.
with disadvantage. Because it is sunlight this time.
What sunlight?
We're in the middle of the day. We started this session at the beginning of the morning, so...
You're in a
Or
building.
the last session at the beginning of the morning,
Yeah,
so...
But
we're
you're
inside
in a building, though, unfortunately.
With a glass dome, so doesn't that count as sunlight? A broken glass dome on top of that.
I mean, he's down at the floor, though. Like, maybe if there was direct sunlight. Or, like, there's a... Let me move everybody over here. You see there's, like, a light circle on the map right there?
Gotcha. I got you. So if he goes there, he'll suffer the effects of the sunlight.
Yeah, that would be direct to sunlight. Actually, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
So, A,
Should repeat those.
it would hit Tulip regardless. B, Grandma would never let anything like that stand to happen to poor Tulip, so she will channel divinity as her reaction.
Oh, so you would just do damage to it for attacking Tulip.
Whatever damage it did to my poor Tulip, it also takes as radiance, but it can wisdom save for half.
Did you rename that just for this situation?
Hell fucking yeah, I did.
Oh, DM, I don't think you rolled the dex save for the Dragon's Breath.
I did not.
Okay, still fails.
Wait, does he fail? No, he doesn't have advantage. Vampire blocks are too long, dude. Oh, he does fail, so he did actually take the 7.
Yeah.
Right. So 15 will still hit, right?
Oh yeah, Tulip is poofed away. now. She's gone.
Okay, yeah, and he.
Nobody.
So he does gain 12 necrotic. Or 12
Didn't he
chill
just take the chill touch?
So the chill touch effects last till the beginning of Motete, or to the end of Motete's turn.
He just had one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he does heal for 12. Tulip dies. He does a wisdom saving throw. He's gonna use a legendary resistance to succeed on that. Just because 19 radiant damage is a lot.
Yeah, so you can save. It takes half.
Yeah, so he takes 9.
Grandma's crying now.
Okay. And then that is his turn. He's taking radiant damage. He doesn't regen at the beginning of his turn. But what he will do is... move there. And he goes, you dare fire your necrotic hands at me? And he is going to unarmed strike Motete.
You have no power here.
That hits you. He is actually going to grapple you, Motete.
I am going to shield.
Okay. In that case, he's just going to do it again.
Oh dang, that does hit.
Okay, so he will grapple you this time as he wraps his arms around you like, come to me.
Nine damage.
No, because he grappled you, you take no damage.
Oh, okay. Oops.
Not all of your damage. So that is Mary's turn. You watch as the cat runs to the wall and then disappears into the shadows.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
Sure.
Or is it too quick?
I'd say it disengaged. We'll say it disengaged.
Okay.
Mary's kind of weird.
Cats are very quick.
You would know.
I would.
Grandma.
Well, now Grandma is furious. Because poor Tulip is dead, and now he's grabbing her new crush. So she's coming in with a Grandma fury. And let's see what happens. You know there's going to be some smites coming.
I'm just picturing like the cartoon of the woman with the rolling pin, and then just like a cloud of dust.
16 will hit.
That does hit?
That does hit, yes.
Alright, here comes the first smite. She's very angry. And
Ooh,
she'll
wow.
swing a second time.
25, 11, that's 36 damage. Yeah, that hurts real bad on him as he lets out a scream as you do this. 17 will also hit.
So there's like a pattern with this campaign. Like there's enemies where Grandma just unloads all of her resources on. First it was the Avatar, now it's this encounter. So there's her last second level, and there's a round of massive Grandma damage.
Grandma damage.
Yeah, so he's hurting pretty bad after that as Grandma has just laid into him.
And I said, you let go of Motete.
Is that your turn? Grandma? I'm gonna assume that's your turn. At the end of your turn, he is going to go. You will feed me to heal me. He's gonna take a legendary action to bite Motete.
Ooh.
Still have shield up, don't you?
Yeah. So my AC is 24 right now.
He doesn't have
Also,
advantage.
did you have to make a saving throw to get grappled?
No.
No,
No.
the attack.
Is
The
it-
attack is the grapple.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Shoot. I was hoping aura protection would help, but never mind.
Yeah, the 21 will miss. Warhorse, you are mounted on it, so he doesn't
All
get
right.
attacked.
If it's the warhorse's turn, it's going to kind of turn around and try to, if possible, non-lethally kick the vampire in the head with its hooves.
Aren't you? You're mounted on the warhorse, right?
Gerhard, I'm gonna let you know I'm killing him. There will be no non-lethal.
I would just
I'm
like to
putting him in the
inter-
ground.
No, I'm 100% for that. Vampires awful, but just try and
My mic's up.
put him into the ground.
Did my
Oh,
mic
is-
stop working there?
I think it did.
Yeah, you're mounted on your warhorse, right?
Correct, but the warhorse is. And my intention is it's operating independently.
Oh. I think we did a ruling
can-
in this last session. I'm trying to remember why I rolled the way I rolled.
It was the intelligent warhorse. It has the ability as an intelligent creature to operate independently. Was I think what we came to.
That was my intention. If you want to rule against that, I'm fine with that. Just let me know.
That's right. Okay, so mounted, they can either control the mount or act independently. That's fine.
It's your call. I'll have fun either way.
One sec.
If you
So
decide against
when
it,
you
just
can you hear me?
yeah, I can
Yeah.
Okay. So the initiative does change to match yours. It does move as you're directed. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
Wouldn't the initiative only match mine if I was controlling it?
So it doesn't say that necessarily. It says, oh, it does say the initiative of a controlled mount changes to match yours. Independent mount bearing rider puts no restriction on the actions the mount can take, and it moves and acts as witches. Like flee, rush to attack. Okay, so yeah. All right, yeah, I can attack.
Great. I don't think it hit.
9 will miss.
All right, and that's its turn.
That's so weird. I've never seen a mount used that way. Remark.
I look out from around the corner, fly out a bit. I'm going to bonus action Hex. Vampire, and I'm going to make his checks on anything strength related suffer disadvantage. And then I will fire at him.
Okay.
Does a 19 hit?
19 will hit.
Alright, I'm going to have to roll an additional d6 for the hex damage after these 5d6.
Nice.
So he takes
So,
27,
33.
27 points of piercing damage and 2 points of necrotic damage.
Okay, so he's got resistance to it. Gotcha. And then I will fly back around the corner.
Okay.
End of turn.
At the end of your turn, he is going to release Motete from the grapple and run up the wall. He goes 30 feet up the wall. He does that without provoking opportunity attacks.
Oh, my arthritis. I can't swing.
Gerhardt.
He's 30 feet up, you said?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, let's see. How can I do this without hitting anybody else? I'm going to cast Moonbeam. See if I can link the spell. No, I can just do this. Sorry. Moonbeam, and I believe it is a 10-foot radius, or first time casting it. Sorry, 40 feet high, 5-foot radius. And because you said he's 30 feet up, this is a 40 feet high cylinder, but it's at a point that I choose. Can I start it up, or does it have to start at the bottom of the ground or the floor?
Depends
that
on the
make
wording for
sense?
Moonbeam.
Let's see. It is a silvery beam of pale light shines down in a 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range. Set.
You're choosing to start it above?
Basically, I want to start it at his location, so from where he is, and then up 40 feet,
I'll
if
allow it.
possible. If not, I can start it at the ground, and he'll still be 10 feet into it.
So a beam of light comes shining from the dome above, vroom, onto it kind of ends like on just below on the wall where he's at. So it's kind of running along the wall there, shining down. He kind of lets out a yell. Saving
So
throw makes a change, throw at disadvantage. Does it save at the beginning of its turn?
Okay, and so if he's a shapechanger, it's disadvantage, and it would be 11 radiant. Ignore the dueling style. Sorry about that.
11 radiant. Okay.
And there's one other thing. I was going to drop the area effect template because it's concentration, so I can keep it. I can move it. I'm just going to drop that, but that'll be the end of my turn because that was an action.
Okay. Motete.
I'm going to tell my Raven to go breathe lightning breath on him.
Okay. He succeeds on the save, and he takes 5 lightning damage.
Okay. And then I'm going to chill touch him.
27 will hit. And that will kill him. As you reach up, the spectral hand grabs him. It grabs him on the back. He's like hanging off the wall. The spectral hand rips down his back. And he falls. He begins falling. As he does, the beam of light kind of shines down on him from the moonbeam. And he turns into mist.
Good luck finding that broken coffin, bitch.
For Tulip!
He's still missed.
He's missed, yes.
You gotta kill the mist.
Oh. Hold on, let me put that back.
Perhaps if we can get the mist in the light, destroy it permanently.
Is the mist still in the light, or no?
The mist is in the moonbeam, yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry, that's not accurate. It's somewhere where it fits. Yeah, like that.
I'm done.
It didn't snap to grid.
Yep, 1 second. I'm just trying to figure out how he actually dies while he's a mist. 1 second. Oh, okay. Missy.
I will come out of hiding. I will. Did the mist see me? I had a 20 stealth. I don't know if mist is observant or not.
He cannot see you.
The 26 to hit
That will hit.
for 23 piercing damage. You're rolling well tonight.
Man, I don't understand. I don't. I don't.
Thing that can do it, can it? I don't think you can shoot. I mean,
No, it's
I
not
don't think
technically
regular
immune.
damage.
It's not technically immune to the mist, or it's not technically immune to your damage. I just don't understand what happens.
Right.
Because okay, so this is what it
well,
says. While in mist form, the vampire can't take any action, speak, or manipulate objects. It is weightless, it has a flying speed, can hover, and it can enter hostile space and stop there. In addition, it can pass through a space. The mist, if it can pass through a space, the mist can do it without squeezing, but it can't pass through water. It has advantage on strength, dexterity, and constitution saves. It is immune to all non-magical damage except for the damage it takes from sunlight. But its regeneration feat says it regains 20 hit points at the start of its turn if it has at least 1 hit point, isn't in sunlight or running water. But it doesn't say.
It's immune to non-magical damage.
But it's not. So like this is magical damage because it's shooting it from a +3 short bow.
Yeah, but the damage it does is piercing, and
But
I don't know.
specifically, it's magical damage because of the weapon that it's fired from.
Exactly.
So
True.
But
the
he's
question
at-
though is he still alive?
Yeah, he's at 0 hit points. That's the thing. I don't know what this does. Like if he takes damage while at
What's
0.
what does it say in his, like, is this misform separate from his death block? As far as what the details of the death block says? Because can he assume misform without being dead, essentially?
Yes.
So I'm wondering if that was maybe just intended as thematic as to how he died?
No, because the vampire that turns into a
that's-
mist doesn't die. It just goes back to its coffin to regenerate.
It says it can make saves. So if it's in this form, so if it's dead, it can't make saves, or it doesn't need to make saves.
Right, no, but I thought the misform was separate from his death condition.
I don't understand what you mean.
Oh,
So it's been reduced to 0 hit points, and that triggered something that caused it to go into misform, correct?
Yeah.
But it can go into misform anyways. It doesn't have to be in the death sequence to go into misform. Correct?
Correct.
So we know that right now, based on what it's saying, it's trying to get back to his coffin. But it doesn't have anything mechanically put in there for what happens if it takes damage during that process.
Correct.
Anybody had any luck with any Google searches on it?
I'm not familiar with this ability.
Wait, what's the wording on Moonbeam?
On his turn, if he fails, the automatically reverts to his normal form. If he fails, and he's got disadvantage on it. But it doesn't say anything about when it's not his turn.
Oh man, that is so unfortunate. So I don't know. I'm gonna roll he dies. There's not.
don't
There's
don't
not
we
really-
don't?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't we have his coffin? Didn't we keep his coffin somewhere, or did we?
Pretty
Did
sure
he
it
run off?
fell in that chasm.
Oh, okay. So he could still. I was gonna say if we had it, he couldn't get to it to regenerate anyways. So
I'm gonna roll that he actually dies here. You shoot the mist, and as you do, it kind of separates. It falls into the moonbeam, and the moonbeam suddenly scorches it. You see all of the mist suddenly catches fire. There's a flame in the air for a second. You hear the sound of an echoing scream before it goes out.
Damn shape changers.
eh?
You hear the sound of a, and you look. You see another mist has teleported. You see the cat is sitting at the top of the dome, looking down. And it lets out a cry. ah! It seems like a cry of anguish before it disappears past the dome.
Can I fly out after it?
Yeah. So you go flying out immediately. You get to the edge. You see the cat's kind of running along the top of the temple.
I'm just gonna keep shooting at it with my 600 feet of range and follow it until I put that thing down.
See if you can capture it alive.
There is no mercy in my
I don't
heart
think
at this
so.
point,
It will.
sir.
You can always
Um,
tell it like it can teleport and things, so it's better to just kill it.
Is anybody else gonna chase it down?
I can't.
I can't.
Okay.
Can't fly.
Remart, make an attack roll.
There you go.
That's a crit.
Ooh.
Reveal.
And I would have bonus action shifted the hex if allowed, but that's up to you.
Can you move hexes?
Yes, after you kill somebody, you can use a bonus action. It's a
Yeah.
concentration spell,
It's like
and it lasts for an hour.
Yeah. That's allowed.
An additional 1 point of necrotic damage. And I'm just going to keep on following and firing it until it's dead.
So that is the cat's turn. I'm gonna put it back on the token layer. The cat turns around and wheels at you. It sees you chasing it down. You see it puts up a paw, and it actually casts a spell on you.
Hmm.
Give me a wisdom saving throw, Remart.
Okay.
That will
Ouch.
fail. You even had advantage on it because I think. Oh, you're a human. Never mind. As it holds up this paw, flashes of light appear in front of you. Ding. And you kind of get mesmerized by it as she casts hypnotic pattern on you, and you sit there. A minute later, you snap out of it. You look around. The cat is gone.
I shout out, if I ever find you, I'll mount your head on my dresser. And I fly back to the party.
Here's Biodome. There it is. Okay.
Well, that was an interesting occurrence. Can I search the mist corpse?
Mist.
Yeah. Does the mist carrying any loot?
The vampire did not have any loot on him.
Okay. Just wet.
I'm surprised that it can cast while in another form. I'm completely fine with it because you didn't want me to chase down and kill it, but I thought that that was a level 20 capstone thing for druids.
I don't think she's a druid.
She's not a druid.
Oh, I know that. I didn't think that anything else could cast while shapeshifted though. Is she using polymorph? This is more me just asking questions, not from a game perspective.
I will tell
That's
you.
a very talented.
Yeah, I will tell you after we complete the adventure, or if you kill her.
Gotcha.
Also, I mean, there's nothing that says that things we fight have to follow the same rules exactly. Like,
Cats are full of surprises. They can do things that you don't know.
they have wares if you have coin.
So, you guys have this window that showcases to a laboratory. Grandma, you didn't sense anything evil from the window.
Didn't sense any undead fiends or celestials, right?
Not from the window, just above you.
I've never faced a mind flayer, so I don't actually know what it is, but I'm gonna I'm gonna say
One moment. Let me send my familiar through. And I'll send my familiar through the.
It's hilarious. Your bird smacks right into the glass of the window.
oh. Damn Windex. So the force, sorry, not the force field. The fog is gone, but the window or barrier is still there.
Correct.
Motete, does this barrier appear to be arcane or just mundane physical?
I'll use my hand and push on it. Does my hand go through?
It does not. There feels like there's glass there.
I want to find some hidden switch or flip or something.
Can I
Along the
peer
walls.
through like a kid in a candy store and see if I notice anything of value that jumps out at me?
Oh, this laboratory's filled with all kinds of things of value. Lots of glass experiments, a mind flayer in a tube. This metal plate armor that's on one wall looks incredibly valuable. There's consoles, there's knickknacks all over the place. You see these kind of mechanical-looking ants are kind of walking all over the consoles. Give me a perception check.
Let's see, perception. Hey.
So, as you're kind of looking in, you notice that these clockwork ants are actually almost forming a word. And you look a little closer, and you see the mechanical ants have formed the word help.
Oh, this is interesting. Anybody else seeing this? It looks like a literal cry for help. I feel like
I would like to.
it's our duty to go in there and offer aid.
Raymard will poke his head in and closer to him and say, "Has anybody used those glass baubles yet and seen how they interact with it?"
So some of the research you guys discovered while you were building the apparatus was that the apparatus could enter the glass baubles, by the way.
Oh.
I think I mentioned that before, but you guys might have forgotten. There's actually like a contraption on the apparatus you can use to like channel into the demiplane of the baubles. You're aware that there's like this dimension within the glass baubles, and the apparatus will allow you to enter it.
Oh, I guess I was confused. I thought they were so both baubles are separate demiplanes?
Correct.
Oh.
Given that, and the apparatus' ability to go there, maybe the apparatus can go through this mirror.
Is the barrier large enough for the apparatus to pass?
The apparatus is really big because it can house like 10 people.
Yeah.
It is far larger than this window.
Roughly, how big is the window? Like
Probably
square
10 by
footage.
10.
10 by 10. Okay.
In terms of the baubles, what do we have? We have a mace
And a lens.
and a lens.
Shall we try exploring? Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Is there anything in the room that the mace or the lens could fit into? Like something to hold the mace or something that can hold the lens.
Give me an investigation check.
And at least 16.
Yeah, you don't see anything that necessarily would fit the mace or the lens. The lens is fairly large. It's about 2 feet across because there's a lens of that giant telescope outside. And you think you would notice if something was large enough to house it, other than the telescope.
What do you guys say we magic school bus this and take a trip into one of the baubles?
I'm okay with that concept. How's everybody doing health and resource wise though? Do we really want to go and tangle with something right now?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing okay. I'm short on some of my spells, but I'm fine.
All right. I have one spell slot remaining. 2 spell slots remaining. But otherwise, I'm good to go if you guys want to go.
Let's do it. Which one first, the lens or the mace?
Were we able to, when looking into them, gain any feeling for the demiplanes that they went to?
You've not been able to determine that, no.
Do recall that one of the glass people was looking into the lens demiplane and had a look of horror on their face.
That looked true.
I would advise caution should we go that one first.
But I looked in there and it was really pretty. There were all lights and things. Maybe he just didn't like lights.
Maybe.
Okay. You guys going to climb into the apparatus and activate this lens?
Let's go in the lens, yeah. Ready yourselves.
All right, so everybody's back in.
All right, you guys climb in. You pull the levers in order to close up your apparatus. Sharon's on Patete's shoulder. Warhorse is in here. I assume Grandma's gonna resummon Tulip.
She can't.
She can't. Feels bad. You set up the lens and you kind of hook it up to a contraption. Using the instructions you had read on the thing, you open the portal. The lens goes immediately kind of this gray-black swirl, and kind of almost begins sucking you guys in. You see a bright flash. You blink. Suddenly you guys find yourselves soaring high above the world.
Oh.
Your eyes are incredibly sharp. You can see significantly farther than you've ever been able to see in your entire lives. You don't see each other, but you can sense each other's presence. You could tell that you're all within the mind of whatever this large bird is that's flying over everywhere. You look around left, look around right. You see large mountains to your right. Below you see fields just kind of running below you as you fly over them. You have a village here or there. You move through a cloud. You feel your feathers get wet as you go through the cloud, so you dive down a bit, getting away from it. You shake off some of the water. You are now in the mind of a rock soaring high above Faerun.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Can I speak? Do I attempt to speak? Am I disembodied?
You sense each other's presence, and you feel as you kind of reach out that you can speak with each other.
Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing?
Pretty.
Am I able to discern where in Faerun we are?
Give me would that be a history check, you think?
Maybe.
Just kind of remember a
Survival.
location on a map, or recognize
History
any
or
buildings.
maybe a survival. Just to recognize region or something. Like terrain.
Either or. I'll let you do either or.
Why do I keep rolling 16s?
You recognize a little bit north of you the what's it called? The spine of the earth? Is that what it's called?
Spine of the world?
Spine of the world? That's the one. So you notice the mountain ranges above you are covered in ice, and you kind of recognize them as the spine of the world. So you're far much farther north than you were previously.
I relate that to the rest of the party.
Can I try to talk to the rock?
You are the rock.
Whoa.
I talk to myself then.
Are we able to control the rock's actions?
That's what I was.
You are the rock. You could certainly try.
I'm going to try and mentally impart fly up.
But I'm gonna help him as also part of the rock.
Okay. Give me a charisma check, please.
Hey, warlocks. I'm glad I multi-classed into this instead of something else. With advantage due to the help or no?
Yes.
19.
So, you realize that together you guys can kind of encourage the rock to fly anywhere you'd like. You impart your will upon it, and you fly up into the clouds above. You feel the chill kind of come over you a bit. It's not too bad. Your feathers keep you fairly warm, but you shake off the last of the water from yourself as it begins to ice over as you fly into these higher altitudes. You come above the clouds, and the sun is bright up here, almost blindingly so. Stretching out in all directions is a sea of clouds. You can pretty much direct this rock to fly anywhere you would like.
Where do you think we should go?
Do we want to use the rock to give us a ride back when we get done with all this?
I think it would be too long of a trip for the rock to get to where we are.
Well, I imagine we're going to spend 2 more days over here.
And a rock is huge. Or rather gargantuan, probably.
I am
I don't
more
know.
interested in seeing what the other item takes it.
Fair.
Do we
And
know
always-
how?
We can always come back here, can't we? Maybe.
Maybe. Do we know how to get back?
Simply re-enter the babble, and your minds will once more be there. Give me a group Arcana check.
Alright. Where is that one? Oof.
Yikes. So, Motete, you've already kind of researched these things a little bit. You've looked into them a bit from your writings. You understand that this is kind of a pocket dimension. This isn't a real rock. This isn't a real world. It's as real as it can be for itself, but it's not somewhere you can technically access. This rock doesn't have access to your world any more than you have access to its world without the mechanisms of the apparatus.
Yeah,
So it can't come
so-
retrieve you or come interact with you in any way. You can navigate through its world, which is almost an exact copy of your world, but it's a different dimension.
Shall we navigate it to its version of where we are and get a bird's eye view of this area and see if the slime is there, or not slime, the ooze is there?
I think that would take too long.
Hmm.
I mean, is it a few thousand miles away from our location?
Maybe we could
Waiting.
set it on the path and then go find out what's in the other bauble.
You could try
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, let's try to do that. Let's steer the rock on, or implant in its mind that it should head to this location and just kind of, if it gets there, circle in the air above. Yeah,
Like,
no.
look at you.
So you're heading to which location? I'm sorry?
Basically to where we would be if we were in that world.
Yeah, so you begin flying. You kind of manipulate its will. You're flying pretty quickly. But as Motete stated, you're very far from where you are. It's going to take you weeks
Too long.
to fly there.
Okay.
Well, let's go check out the other bubble.
Can we land the rock?
So, when you go to attempt to land, you start flying down. You get about 100 feet off the ground. And then suddenly, despite your guys' instructions, the rock levels out and won't go any lower.
Using
So
its or our eyes, do we notice anything unique now that we're closer to the ground?
You see a few villages. You see some people wandering through their business. They don't even seem to notice you. You're only about 100 feet up, and rocks are very large as you fly over this village, but they seem to be going about their day and day as if you're not even there.
I'm out of ideas. Unless you guys got something, let's head back.
Let's go ahead and head back.
So you kind of like think about heading back as a group collective. And as you do, your light goes white again. Your eyes burn. You flash. You're blinded for a second. And you find yourselves all, once again, standing in the apparatus of Kwalish. Hopefully the same one that you were before you entered the Babel.
That was ominous.
Oh, we can look out and see if the... Well, no, that's missed. We could look out and see if Medusa is still there.
You look out, the
Medusa's
world looks
still-
exactly the same.
Is Medusa still there?
Yep, with a cloth over her face.
Oh.
Alright, let's put a pin in that one. That was an enlightening experience. Let's head to the Mace Head.
Sure.
Cool. So you guys place the mace head in the contraption this time. When you do, you hook it up and you activate the Babel Enter again. Once again, the mace head turns dark black, swirling, almost like a black hole. Begins sucking you in. You feel a wind pulling you. Before you even move, a bright light flashes. The exact same experience you had as you entered the lens of the telescope. Give me 1 second. As you open your eyes, you find yourselves on a metal plate, almost like an upside-down shield. Below you is a lava pool. You hear it bubbling, heat's coming up from a hole in the center of the arena. Around you, you see stands filled with people cheering. You look down. Your bodies are there. You're all standing next to one another. But you're encased in this black fumes. The crowd lets out a massive cheer, and as they do, the black fumes come off of your body. They move forward and form into exact copies of yourselves. Standing across you from the pit, on the pit. The copies draw their weapons and look at you. Roll initiative.
Which ones are we?
You guys are the ones on the left. We'll mark the copies as with the blue marker then.
I think there's a pattern here, although I am low intelligence, so I wouldn't recognize it. Never mind. I'm digging the fight tunes. Where are those from?
Just the jukebox. This one. This one is called Nightmare
Machine.
It's from Kevin McLeod. I get a lot of stuff from Kevin McLeod.
I like it. Is that what's this in the center here?
That is a hole, and it leads down to the lava below.
Good to know.
Cool.
Misty,
Hi.
you're the first to react.
May I insight myself? Do I think myself is going to attack me?
I mean, insight check.
How? I mean, 23.
You notice that your shadow seems to be moving very similar to you, almost like a mirror image of you.
My bow,
You do what?
and I sit down. I put down my bow and I sit down.
Okay. Motete. Oh, this is Shadow Motete. Shadow Motete is looking at Motete. This is Shadow Grandma. Shadow Grandma's looking at Motete. Gerhardt. Or Shadow Grandma's looking at Grandma, even.
Even your subconscious is wanting Grandma to what's it say?
Gerhardt looks at Shadow Gerhardt and waves.
Okay. So Shadow Misty sits down. Warhorse.
Is just gonna pass turn.
Shadow Warhorse also pastors. Shadow Remart looks at Remart.
Alright, Remart is going to fly back and try and duck behind the lip of the shield and hide.
So when you do that, Shadow Remart flies back and hides behind the lip of the shield.
Gotcha. 24. And that'll be end of turn 3.
And you got a 28. Motete.
Perhaps we should leave.
Can we?
Motete is going to try to leave the dimensional pocket dimension.
Motete disappears. You find yourself back in the apparatus of Kwalish, and his shadow also disappears. You didn't have to actually disappear. Grandma. Doing Divine Sense.
Divine sense.
These are not Fey, Undead, or Celestials. And you notice that Shadow Grandma also seems to radiate a divine sense on you guys.
Alright, not fiends or celestials or undead.
Good thing I didn't cast Fireball.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that would have sucked.
That's my action.
Shadow Gerhardt waves at Gerhardt. Misty.
This guy seems kind of friendly.
I close my eyes and I wish us both back into the Kwalish thing.
Misty disappears. And Shadow Misty also disappears. Shadow Grandma is going to hold her action to copy you again. Gerhardt.
Gerhardt is going to climb off of Warhorse. See if I can make it. Go up here next to Shadow Gerhardt, and then reach out like a handshake, but from like Predator, where Arnold and the other guy like clasp hands and then like flex.
Predator handshake. Yep.
Yes, Predator handshake. And then and pass turn.
And Warhorse.
Warhorse, is this Shadow Warhorse or real Warhorse?
This is real Warhorse. What did you name him again?
Land Biscuit.
Land biscuit.
Land Biscuit. That's right.
I'm sorry, that tickles me. Land Biscuit is going to wish itself back.
Land Biscuit and Shadow Land Biscuit both disappear. Shadow Gerhardt, as our Land Biscuit disappears, falls to the ground, standing directly in front of you, looking at you, Gerhardt. Remart.
I will wish myself back.
Remart and Shadow. Remart wish disappear. Grandma.
Yeah, I'll follow suit.
Grandma and Shadow. Grandma disappear. Gerhardt. Shadow Gerhardt reaches out and Predator hand shakes you.
Hell yeah. Alright, and then I'm gonna disappear.
Okay.
I had to do that.
You guys are once again back in the Tomb of Medusa.
While we're
I'm
here,
glad.
can I go out and using a short sword, sever the head of the Medusa while keeping the cloth wrapped, and tie the bag up and bring the head along with us?
Sure.
Neat.
You go outside with your short sword. You decapitate the skeletal head. It's not very hard, as it's really just held on by bones. And then you put the pile of bones that is her skull into a bag.
That was an interesting scenario. I'm glad we were able to resolve it non-violently.
Indeed.
How you said the lens is fairly large, right? I'm strong enough to carry it myself, right?
Yeah. It's incredibly light. It's if you guys remember when you picked up the lenses, they're much lighter than they look. All of these Bavels are significantly lighter than they look.
I would like to just on a whim, take the lens, carry it over to this window, and hold the lens up to the window and see if anything changes on the inside when viewing it through the lens.
So as you look through the lens, you have the same effect that you've seen previously, where it doesn't seem to be see-through. Everything you see through is kind of refracted into rainbows, and it just kind of shines rainbows on your face. You do notice that when you shine the rainbows on the window, it doesn't shine inside the laboratory, and the rainbows seem to almost disappear. It's like a kaleidoscope, yes.
Okay.
Perhaps we should search the other locations in the sunken city.
I would say so. Maybe we can find a pocket dimension that will take us in there. If everybody's back inside the apparatus and we seal it up, would you like to go down a few floors in this building and see if there's anything below us in the ooze-covered floors?
Sorry, was that question directed at me?
That was a question directed at anyone in the party. Did you guys want to go check out the ooze-filled floors of this building?
We
Sure,
did
we can
check
check the
this
body
area,
count.
not just the bodies, right?
I think we
You
did a
you
thorough
check.
search earlier.
You look through the areas. You
Last
haven't gone
session.
down into the oozy part of the lower level, so.
Okay.
Shall we? We got nothing to lose. We can always come back up.
Sure.
Before we go, just want to see, can we steer the apparatus over to the window and just use one of its claws to kind of tap at the window and see if it'll pass through?
You steer the apparatus over to the window, and as you reach the claws out, the claw reaches towards the window, and when it hits where the edge of the window is, it goes dink and bounces off the window.
Okay. Just checking. All
My
right,
favorite thing to
Mochete, I
do.
believe you're the pilot here. Let's head down.
Very well.
Give me a sec.
Sure. So what'd you guys think of that Coliseum? Or
I
rather, I
wonder-
should say, did anyone notice that the observatory lens let us view the world, and the mace from the Coliseum took us to a Coliseum?
Yeah.
You go down below into the ooze. On the lower levels, you see a few more interesting statues. Similar to how it is in the rest of the city, these statues are set up in a way to kind of imitate a scene. You see a glass Medusa, very similar to the one upstairs. She's holding a crystal ball. Standing before her is a group of about a dozen Kenku, who all are on their knees, almost as if they're praying to her, as if she's a god. As you look at the crystal ball, you notice that it is refracting rainbows.
Using the this is underneath the ooze, right?
Correct.
I didn't hear you if you answered.
Yes, correct. It is underneath the ooze.
Yeah. Motete, if you could steer one of the claws out and very gingerly collect that ball.
So if you guys would like, you are able to enter the Babel while inside the apparatus. The apparatus can kind of like grab the Babel, and then you can use the mechanisms to kind of enter it that way. You don't necessarily have to bring the Babel inside the apparatus to do so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do that then.
What do we think if the mace led us to the Colosseum and the lens led us to the sky? What do we think the crystal ball will lead us to?
More
Maybe a Medusa and some Kenku.
maybe an
or-
image of what.
Or maybe a like a place of worship, temple.
Could be, since that's where we are.
We know that we can wish ourselves back if it's, or at least we have been able to thus far.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it. I'm game. I vote go.
Sure.
So you reach
What's
out with
that
the
there?
apparatus. You touch the crystal ball, and the apparatus, you notice some of the controls that operate the Babel interest immediately recognize that there is a Babel that can be entered. You operate them, and you activate the Babel's powers. The Babel the crystal ball immediately turns into a black hole, and the entirety of the apparatus is sucked into the black hole. You see a black flashing light, similar to the other Babels you've entered. When you open your eyes, you find yourselves once more in the temple. Standing before you, a group of Kenku is leading a group of commoners to a set of chains in the wall you'd seen previously in the older temple. In the sunlight from the dome above stands a living version of the Medusa you had just killed. She stands there, glaring at the victims as the Kenku are grabbing them and forcing their heads to look at her. They're shaping their bodies of the victims into intricate designs in order to become glass statues. Roll initiative.
It's almost beautiful, but at the same time absolutely horrifying.
Seems like we're witnessing what took place.
What's already happened, yes.
Yeah. It's a sick art.
Right, but given that we're actually rolling initiative, I'm wondering if we're in an alternate dimension where maybe we can affect the outcome.
Or more likely it's a parallel dimension where similar things happen, but will have no impact on the world we're in. But we'll find out.
Or an illusion.
Maybe.
Or that.
Do we notice if they react to our appearance at all?
We will see.
The commoners, are they already glass, or are they in the process of looking?
They are not glass yet.
Okay.
So, as you guys appear, the Kenku look up. They go, "Who is that?" Each of them says it in a different voice that doesn't sound like their own. The first Kenku will grab the commoner it is holding. It'll lift its head up and point it straight at the Medusa. On its turn, it will do a save. It is now holding the commoner in place. Misty, that is your turn.
I close my eyes and wish myself back to apparatus.
Nothing happens.
We cannot leave these innocent people to this fate.
Bonus action, I run over here and hide.
Okay. You close your eyes, trying to avoid the gaze of the Medusa, and try to return. But as you do, you feel almost like a block in your way. You feel the mental presence of your mind kind of leaving, but it seems to be stopped almost by an invisible wall. Your mind returns back to your head, and as you do, you run behind the nearby pillar in order to hide. This commoner is going to avert its gaze. That'll be all it does for the turn. Grandma.
Grandma will slip some birthday money into Ramart, Gerhardt, and Motete's back pockets.
Be hashtag bless.
Thank you.
Sorry, you said Gerhardt as well?
Gerhardt, Remart, and Motete. Okay.
Neat.
And bonus action, Shillelagh, and hide behind.
So you actually can't do that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I can't do that. But whatever. I don't need to.
Okay. Are you doing nothing then with your bonus action?
I ain't really got nothing.
Okay, that's fine. I assume you averted your eyes as well?
Yeah, that's why I was running around that pillar.
Perfect. Okay, so the commoner looks straight at the Medusa. She is unable to look away as the Kenku is holding her there. And then it does a Constitution saving throw. You see it actually succeeds, and it goes, No, leave me alone. But doesn't get petrified. That is the Medusa's turn. She turns. She goes, Who are you?
Real quick mechanics question. Why was Grandma unable to do birthday money and Shillelagh?
So when you use a cantrip as a bonus action, or when you use any spell as a bonus action, you are only able to do cantrips for the remainder of your turn. So since she used her action to do bless, she actually can't use cantrip as a bonus action because that breaks that rule. When you use, even if you use a cantrip as a bonus action, you can still only use a cantrip as an action.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was just one spell and one cantrip.
I thought that doesn't that mess up the concept of utilizing bonus action healing word with the cantrip can't be the bonus action,
Exactly.
but it can be the action.
Exactly.
That's
So
interesting.
the only time this ever comes into play is Shillelagh, Magic Stone, and Grave Cleric's Spare the Dying as a bonus action. This is the only time cantrips are bonus actions.
That's good to know.
So the Medusa turns on you guys, and then she goes, "Why have you entered my temple?" I'm gonna roll a D3 for the people she can see and see who she attacks. That is Gerhardt. So she runs up to you with her short sword drawn. She's going to snake hair you and short sword you. That will miss. Does a 16 hit?
No.
So she misses with everything. Gerhardt, do you avert your eyes?
I do avert my eyes. I'm looking away from her, but then I challenge her, and I say, "Your fight is with me. Leave these innocent people alone," and cast Compelled Duel. As bonus action. And then as my action, hold on, let me record that spell usage. As my action, ignore the fire damage on this. I'm going to strike her twice with
So you can't
sword.
actually use Compelled Duel because the rule wording on it says one creature that you can see within range. And the wording on Petrifying Gaze says a creature can avert its eyes to avoid saving throw at the start of its turn. If the creature does, it can't see the Medusa until the start of its next turn.
Can I retcon my averting my gaze?
Yes, do a Constitution saving throw, please.
Constitution.
An 11 will fail.
Ah, shit. Okay, what happens?
You begin to turn to stone. As you look into it, you actually turn to glass. You see her eyes, and as you do, you suddenly begin to stiffen up. You look down, your arms are becoming see-through as you begin to turn to glass. You are restrained.
Okay.
So you can still attack, but you're restrained while doing it.
Does
So
that
you can
mean...
cast Compel Duel. That is fine. So she will make a Wisdom saving throw,
Okay.
which she succeeds on.
Bummer. So you said I can attack. Would that be at disadvantage, or?
Yes, it is. When you are restrained, you attack at disadvantage.
Okay, so use the lower of that one or this one. So 17.
A 17 will hit.
All right, and then I've got my second attack, which I will do now.
So you will deal 8 slashing and 9 fire damage to her, because I'll assume you're...
No fire damage because I already used my bonus action.
Okay.
So it would be 8 plus 2 for dueling style.
Yep, so you deal 10.
10, and then the second attack, 14.
A 14 will miss.
Okay.
So you slice at her, cutting her arm a bit. She lets out a scream. Ah! You dare touch me! But then you go to slice at her again. She like slithers backwards again. She got like a long snake tail coming off of her butt. Anything else?
No, that is everything as I look at my hands in horror.
Yep. Okay. So this Kenku is going to hold up this commoner's face. Look at her! Look at her! She says with a kind of gruff, rough and tumble kind of male voice. Remart, do you avert your eyes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna try something silly. I'm gonna call out to her as I fly up, and say, "Look at what you become." And then I'm gonna pull out the bone Medusa's head and see if looking at itself has any effect.
Interesting. Okay, so you hold out the head. If it did anything, it wouldn't do anything until her turn.
Right.
Anything else you want to do?
I imagine that takes my action, correct?
Correct.
And I'm just doing that from about 50 feet in the air.
Okay. Give me a... Ooh. Let's call it a persuasion check.
Okay.
Okay.
Man, not so good.
Motete. Do you avert your eyes, Motete? You are muted if you are talking. Because I assume that's a magic missile.
Yes. I use 5 charges. I do avert my eyes.
Again, magic missile is a creature that you can see within range. So if you avert your eyes, you can't see her.
Can I look at her feet?
No, because the wording on Petrifying Gaze says if a creature does so, it can't see the Medusa until the start of its next turn.
Okay. Well then.
I'll just go ahead and link that for you guys.
Just turn to glass. That's what the cool kids are doing.
Well then. If I can't look at her.
You said she succeeded on the compelled duel save, right?
She did succeed, yes.
Yeah. Would have been cool.
Fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead and look at her.
Okay, give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. Living dangerously.
15 will
Hey.
succeed. So
Here's-
she like turns and looks at you as you're getting ready to cast a spell. You look deep into her eyes, and as you do, you almost feel your skin start to rough, but you shake it off for a bit, and then you cast your magic missile spell, dealing 24 points of force damage on her. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Warhorse.
Actually, I'll
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll direct my familiar to help the next attack on her.
Okay. Warhorse.
Is just going to see what had happened to Gerhardt, and it is not going to avert its eyes, and it's going to try and attack her with its hooves.
Give me a Constitution saving throw for the Warhorse, please. The Warhorse is restrained and begins turning to glass.
Did he get the attack?
He does the attack with disadvantage.
8. Oof.
An 8 will miss. As it begins to turn, its leg kind of stops in midair, and it just barely cranks it back as it's starting to turn to glass.
Alright, end turn.
The Kenku is going to hold up the commoner's face.
Hold on, I did provide the help action.
Oh, you did, actually. A 24 will hit, dealing 13 bludgeoning damage to this thing. As the horse kicks very slowly, but because she's distracted by the raven kind of messing with her face, she does get hit by it. So she takes 13 bludgeoning damage. The Kenku is going to hold or continue holding this commoner's face, so it has to look at her. Misty, do you avert your eyes?
I will stay there. Can I stay behind the pillar and not have line of sight of her? If I shoot at one of the Kenkus?
As long as you aren't looking at her, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. We'll shoot at a Kenku.
Yep, you can 100% shoot a Kenku without looking at her. That's fine.
I think I hid, but I don't remember what it was.
I also don't remember what it was, but I assume it was high enough.
16. 16.
Yes.
16.
Yeah, that's fine. That's definitely higher than their passive percent.
And I will shoot the Kenku. Whichever one, I'll just shoot that one.
Okay.
I don't know which one's which, but I'll shoot that one. 28 for 21 damage.
More than enough. As you shoot this thing, it dies completely there. Oh, man, Mitz. My cat turned off my monitor, which means all my screen's gonna reset here. I need to fix my stream real fast. Give me a sec.
Cats are very mischievous.
So that's where it went after it hypnotic gazed remark and disappeared.
Okay, we back in action.
And I run there and I 24 hide.
Yeah, so this guy's straight up dead. So he's no longer holding that commoner either. And 24
This is
will
my
be
turn.
pretty hidden. This one is being forced to look at the Medusa, so it is going to do a con save. It succeeds. Wow, these commoners are killing it today. Grandma, do you look away?
Yes, Grandma's not looking at that bitch. She's gonna come up here. And she's gonna pull out everybody's favorite storybook, Goodnight Moon. And she's gonna start reading it. She's gonna direct the magic over at these three and try to put them to sleep.
Okay. Go ahead and roll sleep spells.
Grandma's full of surprises.
8, 21. That puts all three of them to sleep.
Now they can't look at it because they're asleep.
Yeah, okay.
So Grendel casts a spell. All three of them collapse. The Kenku lets go of the commoners and falls asleep. You see the two commoners are snoring, and the Kenku is like imitating somebody else snoring in their sleep. It's quite a strange sound. It also mixes in like a blue jay whistle as it does it, so it's like it's kind of awkward. You've never seen a Kenku sleep before. Yeah, anything else, Grandma?
That's the end of her turn.
Alright, commoner's asleep. The Medusa sees that you are now turning to glass. And she smiles at this, Gerhardt, and she's gonna move here. She's gonna shoot her snake hair first at Sharon, because she doesn't like that Sharon distracted her there. Completely missing Sharon, I think. This is AC 12.
She still have compelled duel?
She passed
Did,
that.
Yeah.
that's right, she did, yeah. Yep.
Actually, she's gonna move there. She
Unfortunately.
can move there without taking op attacks. And she's gonna attack Motete. Those will both hit Motete. Unless you want to shield.
Yes. Shielding.
Okay. Yeah,
Not so fast.
She comes to you with this short sword. As you do, you hold up a magical shield in the air, and she just bashes off the magical shield in the air, not hitting you. Gerhardt, do you look away?
Yes, definitely this time.
Okay.
Do I get any additional saves?
You will do the save again at the end of your turn.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. I was really hoping that compelled duel would work. Alright, well, I'm going to just avert my gaze and very slowly, apparently, because I'm solidifying, try and strike her. Bonus action to ignite my sword.
Okay. A 21 will hit. A 17 will also hit.
Right, so that's, yeah, all that. What is that?
11, 17 points on the first one, and 17 on the second one, so 34 total. As you slice into her, you feel your short sword connect, even though you're not looking. Your eyes are kind of closed. You let her yell, or she yells at a yell. Ah! You hear the sound of sizzling flesh as your flame tongue cauterizes the wound that has just occurred itself.
And that's my turn.
At the end of your turn, give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Is it? It's not a disadvantage, right? Only dex saving throws are at disadvantage when restrained.
I believe that is correct.
Big money.
An 18 will succeed, and as you're kind of stretching and moving, you feel it kind of break, and all of where your skin was kind of turning to glass almost shatters. You have a layer of skin that breaks off of your body, and you can once again move freely as you're no longer restrained.
Whew. That was a close one. End turn. Yeah.
Kenku's asleep. Remart. So she seems to have completely ignored you, Remart, on her turn. She did not look up her petrified head at all. She was kind of busy with other people.
Okay. Can I use object interaction to store the head?
Yes.
Okay. Can I fire at her with disadvantage while averting my gaze?
Yes.
Okay, I will do so.
So you look away. You stuff the head in. You pull out your bow and you kind of shoot where you know where she's at. With
And
a 19,
then,
you hear it hit.
21. I do proc sneak attack because she's within 5 feet of Motete.
No, because you have disadvantage on the
Sure.
attack.
Gotcha.
You can't get this, or you can't get sneak attack when you have disadvantage on an attack.
Gotcha. Alright. He
So
takes 7 points of magical piercing.
7
and then-
points.
I will fly over here, bonus action high.
Okay.
So 21 plus a d4.
Yep, you're hidden.
So 24. End of turn.
Does Bless give ability checks too? I thought it was just saving throw and attack rolls.
No. Just
Oh, I'm
saving
sorry.
throws and
I did it wrong. Ignore the 3. It's still 21, though, because I've got the Cloak of Elvenkind with it up.
Yeah, that's fine. Motete, do you avert your gaze?
No.
Okay, give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
The 1.
So that is an 11, so you don't instantly get petrified, but you are now restrained as you feel your skin turning to glass. Just looking at her eyes, you feel yourself begin to harden and stiffen.
The bell tolls for you.
Dong. She fails. She lets out a roar. Ah! She takes 9 necrotic damage. Feels bad that your D12 rolled less than your D8.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens.
Or your 2D12
That's-
less than your 2D8. Feels bad, yeah.
Ouch.
You said that was it?
Yep, that was it.
Okay. Warhorse.
Is just going to. Wait, it's still glassified, right? Or getting that way?
It is restrained, yes.
Yeah. It's going to attempt to kick her
Okay,
while
it does it with
averting its
disadvantage.
gaze.
A 13 will miss.
Okay, enter.
At the end of its turn, give it a Constitution saving throw, please. That will succeed.
Nice.
And you watch as the horse breaks off all the glass on it. It's no longer. It's moving normally again. You see it kind of some of the hair on its mane kind of shatters as it does that. And it had a nice haircut from that, but it's real ragged. It's not a clean haircut. Looks like like a little kid who's cutting their own hair but not looking in a mirror while doing it. That's what it looks like.
Nice.
Misty, do you avert your gaze?
I do, and then I shoot it.
Okay. It'll be a straight roll. That's a crit.
It is. That's a crit. So
That's a-
14 points of damage.
You still sneak attack, actually. 14 plus
31.
30.
Even if I had disadvantage?
So it's only if the roll itself is
Even if-
disadvantage, but because you had advantage
Got
plus
it.
disadvantage, it was actually a straight roll, so you actually still get sneak attack.
Right.
But
Okay,
it's-
I thought it was if there was any disadvantage at all. So that's 44 points of damage.
That is more than enough to kill it. As you come out, you're looking away, but it doesn't know you're there, and you shoot this arrow right through the back of its head. You guys see as the light in its eyes immediately dims. You no longer feel its gaze pouring into you if you look at it. An arrow sticks out of her mouth. As she falls forward, her head crashes on the ground. She is dead.
Still in combat?
No.
We got
What
a
about-
Kenku
what
here. We
about
gotta kill this
Motete?
Kenku.
Without looking directly at her, I'd like to walk over and very aggressively chop off her head.
You execute her. You guys can kill the Kenku in one hit. It's only like 13 HP. You'll have advantage. I'm not too worried about it. It's incapacitated, so it's an automatic crit if you hit it too. So.
Oh, you're doing that to the Kenku?
No, I did that to the Medusa.
Yeah, you sever the
no,
Medusa's head. You now have both a real Medusa head and a fake Medusa head on Remart, or a dead Medusa head, I should say.
I have no interest in keeping the head, so without
I want
pointing
it-
its
I want
eyes at Remart, hand it
I
to
want-
them.
Isn't
Yeah,
Motete
I
turning to
very
glass?
carefully
Yeah.
put a blanket on it first off.
Isn't Motete turning to glass, and we have like 6 seconds
Yes.
before
Yep.
he has one more save? On
Yep.
Grandma's next
Oh.
turn in initiative, he's gonna run over to Motete and give him a big hug so he can benefit from her paladin aura.
Great. Motete, give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Nice.
There you go.
And you are no longer turning to glass.
Thank you. By the way, I don't feel comfortable calling you Grandma. What is your real name?
It's Anne.
Oh.
Oh, thank you, Anne.
But just call me Grandma. Everybody calls me Grandma.
Ooh. Before you kill the Kenku, I'd like
Too
to.
late.
Never
Too
mind.
late. Sorry.
Gerhard killed the King.
I just assumed we were killing things.
Misty killed it.
So, you guys
Murder
now.
hobos.
You guys actually now feel like after you've completed this combat, you could leave if you would like.
Should we
Sure.
take these two people with us, or should we just ask them about themselves?
I'd like to wake them up gently.
Who are you?
We are foreigners to this world, I think. We came here in search of something. How long has this been happening with this Medusa? And how many other people have been affected?
They both turn to each other and they go, "We don't know. We were the only prisoners when we arrived. They told us that there's glass statues all over the town. We came here searching for this lost city of glass, and suddenly we find ourselves captured by this Kenku. They let us in. They were feeding us, being so kind to us. But before we even knew it, we were thrown in a prison cell and told that we were going to become glorious statues to be added to the city. And we realized that all of the statues were actually real people. They look so real. I don't know why we didn't realize it before. They were pulled before this Medusa. We're going to be turned to glass. And then you guys showed up and they start hyperventilating. And they grab each other and begin crying.
Calm down. You're safe now, I think. Have you ever heard the name Kwalish? Kwalish?
No, it doesn't seem to ring a bell. I apologize.
Okay, do you think you'll be able to... Is there a giant ooze out there? Do you think you would be able to find your way safely out?
Ooze? No, there's no ooze.
Okay, good. Then, unless any of my comrades have anything to say, I think you could be on your way.
They hold hands. And they're clearly like a husband and wife traveling group. And they begin walking out, and they go, "Thank you so much, thank you." And they leave.
Alright, any loot on the Medusa or in this area that I can see?
So you reach down to the Medusa's body, and you kind of search through all of her clothes. She's a bunch of like gold pieces on her, gold circlets and stuff. The entire room is kind of lavishly covered in glass statues and glass ornaments, but there is nothing of magical value anywhere here.
Okay, this gold will have its uses, but riches themselves are of no interest to me. I'm gonna look here to see if I can see that window.
There's no window in the wall.
I'm going to try and do something very silly, very stupid, but I'm going to try and do it carefully. I'm going to take both of the Medusa heads and set them on the altar without looking at them directly, and see if I can get the bone Medusa head to look at the new Medusa head, and see if it has the effect of turning the other Medusa head to glass.
Okay. So the bone Medusa head, when she was undead, had like these blue lights in her eye sockets. And those had gone out. So you guys had determined at that time that there's probably no longer a problem. You've been very careful just in case. And the real Medusa head has kind of got this glassed over look to her eyes now. So when you place them on the altar and look them at each other, you kind of peek out of the corner of your eye, and there doesn't seem to be any change to them at all.
Damn. Well, okay. Does anybody know how to preserve a head?
I understand
I
the
think-
sentiment of a very Jason and the Argonauts feel, where he held up the Medusa's head. It still worked, but I don't believe in this case the petrifying gaze still works after she dies.
Not a problem. At the very least, they're going to be a very fun flavor thing that I'm going to take with my character everywhere I go. Just a pair of Medusa heads on my belt.
Sounds great.
Does anybody know how to preserve a head, or I don't know, some way prevent it from rotting?
I think you'd be better off just accelerating that decay and having two skeletal heads. It'd be much simpler.
Yeah, probably true.
Otherwise, I'm
Is-
sure you could speak to an alchemist, but
It's beyond my current skill. I could animate it.
no,
But-
no.
Well, part of what I'm wondering is maybe I can like melt some metal and dip it in gold. So I've got one bone head and one gold head. So like Remart at this point is just like off on his own little world, trying to figure out how in the world is he going to preserve this head. You guys go ahead and do as you wish right now. If we go anywhere, grab me, but I'm gonna ponder this
What's
for a little
the
while.
spell?
Is there any value in exploring this altered dimension of where we once were? There's no ooze here.
There might be the laboratory over here.
Oh, I already checked to see if there's a window. There wasn't one.
Okay.
Maybe we went back in time and created the bone Medusa by killing the real Medusa.
Oh. Whoa.
I watch a lot of movies in my spare time.
Inception.
That just and we completed the loop by Remart cutting off the head of the one that was there, and we cut off the head of the one here. So that loop is closed. Holy cow. Too trippy.
And I can animate her.
If you do, I'm leaving.
Yeah, all right, but she has no head, so she can do her glass thing.
I guess.
What's the spell that lets
It's also
you...
useless as a reanimated corpse then.
Well, Tete seems to
stop
like it, so
decaying?
Well, it seems that if I were to use that power, I don't believe I could bring them back to our dimension.
Good point. Do we want to explore, or do we want to just go back?
I think it's a necromancer.
can I see what's at the bottom of the steps? Or at the top of the, I guess they're going down steps, aren't they?
Yeah, they went down the steps. You look down, you see the exact same temple you had explored previously, except in this time it's in kind of its full glory. You hear voices from below.
Oh yeah. What about that scene that we used to get here, with the crystal ball being held up by the other Kenku or the Kenku statues?
There would be another Medusa then.
I think there was only one Medusa. I think we managed to stop it.
Okay.
No, it was a stone Medusa holding a
Oh,
crystal ball that we used to get here.
It was glass.
Oh,
Sorry.
so there could be. I get what you're saying.
Gentle
You guys want
reports.
to start another fight? I'm good with it if we do.
Well, I think we should investigate in case there's another dimension bauble key.
Do we let Misty go ahead and go for it?
you want to go down and look?
She's the stealthiest of us.
Go
Yes,
down and look.
go scout. I'm gonna wait at the where I am here.
I go down to bottom of steps and see if I can see until I hear Medusa voice, and then I close my eyes.
Misty, as you ascend the steps, you never seem to keep getting farther. You take steps, you take steps, you take steps. Steps never seem to end. You walk. Those of you at the top see Misty almost walking in place. Misty, you feel like you're descending, but you're going nowhere.
She's just
Like-
lagging.
I look back. Have I gone anywhere from them?
You're about
the
halfway
people
down
up
the
top?
steps. It's not a very long staircase. It was only maybe 20 steps or so, and you're about 10 steps down.
This pocket dimension appears very small.
I keep going
You keep going down or up?
down.
You continue walking, and the steps seem to extend further and further and further. Every time you take a step, you feel like you've gone a step, but they feel like they're a step longer.
Do the voices get any closer?
They do not.
I shrug and go back up the steps.
You were able to successfully go back up the steps.
They're long steps.
I'm
They're longer than they look.
not sure there's very much here for us. I think we should return.
Okay. Did we check out this whole place for other boobles and things?
I think we did. If not, let's give it one more once over.
You give it another once over. You've, like I said, you found a bunch of gold and some bronze ornaments and stuff, but mostly glass. Lots of glass. Everything's glass. There's a mural, some mural on the wall. It's the same mural that you'd seen back in the real world version of this temple. But there's nothing magical about you.
Right? Gerhardt would like to will himself back. And Land Biscuit as well.
Gerhardt returns. So does Lamb Biscuit.
I want to look at this area around the not mirror or the not window,
The not.
and I just want to the not window, the area over here that's not a window anymore.
Mhm.
I just want to examine it because I want to compare it to the window room when we get back.
It is a blank wall.
Anything along either of the sides then? Along
The mural kind of covers all of
Yeah.
these. Let me grab my ruler tool. The mural kind of covers like all of these walls here.
Okay.
On this section here is the same chains you'd seen previously, but they're not rusted. They've been well used. There's kind of like blood marks around here where you suspect that people have been punched or whatever. The whole place is in actually very nice condition. I mean, the map doesn't make it look like that, but the whole place is kind of got gold filaments through it. It's definitely a temple that's well kept. This wall and this wall are inherently plain. This one has a statue of a person sitting in it. It looks to be a Kenku wearing a very fancy robe, but there's nothing in here.
And was there anything in the real world up in here?
No.
All right, Remart, with fingers crossed, is going to will himself back to the other world.
Remart returns.
When he returns, does he see that he has both of the heads?
You look down. On your waist, you see the head of the bone Medusa. And also the head of the real Medusa.
Yes! Thank you.
Misty will come back too.
Okay, Misty returns. Grandma Motete.
Oh, how convenient. It's just the two of us.
Perhaps we should rejoin the others.
Okay.
Grandma's trying to turn my stream PG-13.
Oh, yeah.
Got some sexual healing.
Grandma's got the moisturizer. Okay. So all of you return back to the real world. Okay, what would you like to do now? Oh, another thing. So now that you guys have returned back, you find yourself once again in the ooze part of the bottom floor. There's the Medusa holding the glass crystal ball, Babel, with the Kenku servants kind of bowing to her. And when you guys return, you do notice there's one other thing in this room. Off to the side, far to the back, you hadn't seen it previously because you're kind of worried about the Babel and whatnot. All the way in the back, there's an archway. It looks very, very similar to the one you guys had seen back at the central abbey behind the throne.
Central Abbey behind the throne?
If you the Bone Devil sat on the throne,
Ah.
there's an archway that was behind that throne you guys had seen. And you see now there's one that looks exactly like it here.
DM, is the claw delicate enough to take the bauble from the glass Medusa?
Say it again. Yeah, you could break the bauble off. The baubles aren't technically attached, really. They're kind of attached, but not really. They're separate to the glass statues themselves. So you could kind of remove it from her hand. You break a finger in the process, but it's whatever.
Shall we go explore that archway?
Did anybody notice that archway? Can't put my finger on it, but it looks familiar.
Well, let's go take a look. Motete, could you lead us over there?
Yes, of course.
So you guys move over the apparatus to the archway. You see it has intricate kind of runes all around the edge of it. It's definitely some kind of portal. Motete, you can pretty much figure that out. And it doesn't seem to be active at the moment.
We should activate it.
But how?
Give me an Arcana check.
At 16.
So as you examine the edges of the portal, you see that there's actually kind of a hookup on the sides, and you realize that it's very similar to the Babels. You can actually hook up the apparatus of Kwalish to this and activate it if you would like.
Okay. I will do so.
So you navigate the apparatus's claws over to the edges of the portal. The claws kind of lock in perfectly to the edges. You pull the lever. You see power kind of surges through the apparatus. So when it does, you see bubbles kind of come up inside of the ooze around the apparatus's claws. And as it does, this spark kind of flies around the edge of the gateway. You watch as the spark kind of trace itself along the edge of the runes on the outside, writing. Motete, you would recognize this as a very high-level wizard spell that it is writing on the outside edge here, basically doing the ritual for it. And at the end, the gate completely lights up, and inside of it, swirling portal appears in front of you.
And it's big enough to move the whole apparatus through?
It is a very large portal, yes.
Okay. I'll move the apparatus through it.
1 second.
It was a very strange adventure, to say the least.
I've never used this spell before. Has anybody ever used the
Teleportation.
gate spell before?
Oh, I never even heard of it.
So my question is, the gate appears here, but does the gate also appear at the other end?
See, you conjure.
Yeah, it says it
portal.
has a front
Yeah.
and a back on each plane.
Yeah.
On each plane. Okay. So you guys walk through the plane. I need to look up something else then, actually. Because there's an effect. You walk in, and immediately you feel evil surging through the outside of your apparatus. All around you, you see slime everywhere. Oozes gushing and moving all around. You feel evil's kind of flowing in from the outside. A lot of the slimes around you kind of rise up and start like moving and blobbing around. They seem to almost be encompassing you now. Everywhere you look are these dark black oozes, and in the distance you see an even larger ooze rise up. This ooze has dozens and dozens of eyes.
Eyes?
Eyes.
Don't like this. Let's go back.
I'm gonna try and see if I can pick up anything in particular before we bolt. With Divine Sense.
Are you using Divine Sense?
Yeah.
Everything
case.
around you is a
Overloads.
It's a fiend. Okay, let's get out of here.
You guys walk back through the gate. You turn the apparatus around. You immediately crank on the side of the gate and close it.
That's off.
And as you do, you notice
Uh-oh.
that a lot of the ooze around you in this room has disappeared.
So the ooze in the back in how should I say this? In the temple.
In the real world.
Yeah, you're in the temple. The ooze on the ground floor of this temple has disappeared.
Tete, given what we just saw, does that by chance seem as if the ooze here is from that other plane?
I would argue otherwise. My divine sense tells me that what we just saw were fiends, not ooze.
Oh, I thought the DM was describing it as ooze.
I guess I should clarify. You were completely surrounded by fiends, but not all of those oozes were fiends. A lot of them were actually oozes.
Oh, okay.
But there were fiends everywhere around you. Like, you got like 100 million pings within 60 feet of you of just fiends all over the place.
Not 100% sure, but that might have been hell.
It
Or one of
could
them.
be that the source of all of the ooze that envelops this whole city is from there.
If that's the case, I have an idea, but given that you are the most skilled arcane caster among us, do you think if I utilized one of my spell cards to banish it, as it's a single entity, it might banish it all the way back to the plane, and as long as I hold my concentration
thought of it again.
uninterrupted,
He thought of this a couple sessions ago, and it would have worked actually,
then
but he didn't
we
actually
might
do
rid
it.
the entire city of the ooze permanently.
That's interesting, assuming it is a single entity.
Do you guys think it's worth a go? Motete, what do you think, given that you're the most skilled in this field?
I would concur with the previous objection that there's no certainty that it is one entity, but it is worth a try.
I would also like to add, do we benefit from removing the ooze? We can freely traverse it at the moment.
True.
It's no longer an impediment to us.
Good point. Maybe it'll be something I reconsider if I have extra resources left as we leave the city.
Yes, and after we've removed all the threats, because if we remove the ooze, then that could lead innocent explorers into more dangers.
They're not going to do it again. Interesting.
A strategy to consider if we were in different circumstances.
Okay, what would you guys like to do?
Should we go check out that? Let's remember this portal is here. Let's go check out the palace, maybe, or what I call a palace.
Okay, so you guys climb back up to the dome part of the top, and you leave through the top, back into the upper part of the city. So you guys are heading here.
Mm-hmm.
Unless anybody objects, so it's democracy.
Do we want to do that now, or do we want to call it? Where are we looking at day time wise? Like, how much time have we spent throughout the day?
Couple hours.
Okay, so we're still fairly early in the day then.
It's like
if
the
we
first thing
started
you did
in the morning coming over here.
So I'd say it's about noon.
Okay. I'm good to continue if you guys want to.
I think we should fully explore the area.
Yeah. Check out the palace, I guess. We still have to find Kwalish and out of character. Gotta find a magic item. Well, we don't have to, but it'd be fun.
I feel like Kwalish was through that portal that we were looking at within the temple. I'm not sure how we access it yet. But wasn't what we saw through that opaque mirror, once it cleared up, a vision of a laboratory?
It was, and it was also somebody crying for help.
I'll be right back.
Somehow. We just need to figure out what portal will get us there. Or maybe all of them together.
Yeah, maybe if we grab all the bottles total, they might provide some sort of key.
That is my suspicion as well.
Well, let's see about it then.
But we don't know how many there are. We don't know how they would go in the window so that we could cross the window.
Right, I completely agree with Misty. But given that we haven't searched all the areas, maybe it's something we keep an eye out for, and we attempt to gather all the resources that we can for solving that puzzle. And then we
Perhaps
return
the
back to the
solution-
temple.
Perhaps the solution will present itself as we explore more.
I am back. Okay, so you guys want to head to the palace, or did you decide something else while I was gone?
House.
Palace it is. So you guys walk along the edge of the palace. You head over to above down. You head down into the ooze below. You see a royal courtyard, and you see that there is a king and queen sitting on a throne, holding an audience of nobles. The king and queen kind of look like peasants who seem to have been almost dressed in fancier clothes than most people. So they're probably nobles of some kind. I shouldn't say peasants. They're probably nobles of some kind. They definitely weren't an actual king and queen. But they're sitting on thrones as if they are a king and queen. The audience also kind of looks like people who are wearing nicer clothes, but necessarily they have like swords and shields on them. They're adventurers that are just wearing nicer clothes. They are set throughout the courtyard. You notice two Babbles when you come down here. One of the ladies of the court is wearing an ornate diadem that is reflecting rainbow lights, and the king sitting on the throne has an staff, and on top of the staff is a royal orb that is also reflecting rainbow light.
These are both under the ooze at this point.
Yes, these are down the ooze.
Shall we go use the claws to retrieve them?
Sorry, I was typing. What was so there was an orb on the queen, and what was the other one?
There's a royal orb on the king, and there's an
King, sorry.
ornate diadem on the head of a great lady of the court.
I see. We found out that we no longer need to retrieve them to enter their planar space. Do we want to go in first and then retrieve them as necessary?
Sure, but let's try and make sure we grab them all on the way out, so that if we do need them for some other reason, we have them with us.
That's not a bad idea.
So shall we do
Alright.
the orb or the diadem first? You know what?
Let's say
Grandma.
one.
Grandma, you
Oh,
pick one.
Let's say one we go to the orb, two we go to the diadem.
Or that works.
You guys okay with that?
Works for me.
Right, orb first then.
You guys walk up to the royal throne. You connect the apparatus to the Babel on the royal orb, and you enter the space. The royal orb turns black and milky and swirls as if it's a black hole. Once again, the light flashes white before your eyes. And then you hear sounds. You're no longer in the apparatus. As you look around, there's a phantasmal court sitting all around you. Very similar to the one that you just seen of ghostly images, or of glass statues, but now they are phantasms and ghosts of various kinds. Sitting instead on the throne is a blackened wraith, wearing a crown of a king. The king is holding court, speaking to the phantasms. Then, as you appear, he stops and he goes, "Who are you who have entered my court uninvited?"
Grandma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Orders.
Grandma. And these are my friends.
Grandma, you're particularly good with talking to people.
We're really sorry to interrupt. We were just... We got turned around. We don't mean any trouble.
Have a seat. Please do not further interrupt the proceedings.
Okay, I'm sorry. Guys, sit down. Be quiet.
Gerhardt kind of gives a quick bow and looks for a seat.
So you guys take seats amongst the ghostly nobles. You see the ghostly nobles are kind of whispering to each other and pointing at you and talking about you. And the proceedings continue. It's all very boring stuff. It's nobles asking for more land or swearing their fealty to the Wraith King. Several of them are discussing tax disputes they have. A couple of them get into a heated argument about the boundary between their settlements. It's all very boring court stuff. But there doesn't seem to be anything else going on here. Anything you guys would like to do?
I'd just like to take a look around and see if I can pick out anything that might be considered magical that could be pulled into our world.
You don't see anything at all. This courtroom doesn't even look like the one you were just in. It looks very different. It's its own own dimension, own courthouse.
I'd like to, like a grade schooler, I'd like to raise my hand and look at the Wraith King, just kind of like with my hand up to speak.
So the Wraith King is dueling out justice to a thief who had been caught stealing from a local lord's market. As you raise his hand, he stops and he goes, "What brings you to interrupt the proceedings once again?"
My sincere apologies. We will soon be on our way and trouble you no further. I would simply like to know your magnanimousness. Have you heard of or know of someone by the name of Kwalish?
You hear some giggling from those around you as you say this, and the king goes, "Are you mocking me?"
Not at all.
Kwalish is my most trusted right-hand advisor.
Oh, like I said, we don't mean to interrupt further, but if we could have your permission to speak to him.
He's not here at the moment. He comes and goes as he pleases. Now, if you're done interrupting, I will go back to the proceedings of my court.
Of course, of course.
And he continues going back to dishing out the punishment to the thief.
Without interrupting further, trying to kind of whisper to the party, "Did you guys catch that? Kwalish apparently comes and goes here and advises this place. Maybe we could find some hint or evidence or clue of how to get to his laboratory or something." Any thoughts?
Potentially, it sounds like you found a more recent interaction with Kwalish, which at the very least gives us an indication that, if not necessarily alive, and he does the air quotes with his hands, that he is interacting in some form. It didn't, when you interacted with the king, it didn't sound as if this were some extended absence that has occurred.
Well, we don't really know how time operates here.
That is also very true. And beyond my comprehension.
Is this just an artifact of the map, or is that anything of note?
Just an artifact of the map.
Okay. I'm seated, so I'm gonna turn to the nearest phantasm and just be like, "Do you have any information on what Kwalish does while he's here, or where he goes?"
Give me a persuasion check. So you see a ghostly phantasmal noblewoman. She kind of leans forward and she goes, "Well, of course. He shows up very similar to how you guys did just now. Randomly appears, talks to the king, advises us once, and then leaves. Never know when he'll be here. He just shows up."
Does the king appreciate his advice? If we were to offer his advice or offer our advice on some of these rulings that he's doing, would he be favorable or would that be insulting?
She giggles. Only if they're as well thought out and intelligent as Kwalish's are. Otherwise, I don't believe the king respects having his authority questioned.
Thank you very much for your time. What?
I asked the same phantom. So, what is the realm of this king? Who does he rule over?
Well, of course he rules over there. She says the name of the kingdom, but it seems to you'd be unable to hear it.
Motete, Grandma, you were both, at least combined, you were both probably as wise and thoughtful, if not more, than Kwalish. Kwalish, do you think you would be able to aid the king and maybe he'd give us more information about Kwalish or some boon?
Oh, I could certainly try, honey.
I think I've already made him mad, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Motete nudges Grandma.
So you guys gonna try and speak to the king?
Grandma will wait for a good time to approach and not just interrupt him in the middle of a proceeding. And when the opportunity arises, like, between cases or something, she'll go up to him and be like, excuse me, almighty kingship, sir. We were wondering if there was anything we could do to assist you in return for a little more information on this Kwalish gentleman.
So you wait until there's everyone who seems to have been scheduled for business is complete, and there's a barker screams out, "Any other business?" And you walk forward. The king goes, "At least this time you waited your turn." You ask your question. The king leans forward and he goes, "Unfortunately, I know very little about Kwalish. I trust him fully and without doubt, but if I'm being honest, I couldn't tell you why. He has proven himself worthy of such, but it's not necessarily sure how he managed to do that. I cannot tell you more than that."
This is something I do very rarely in D&D games, but do I believe him? Does Grandma believe him?
Give me an insight check.
Damn.
So, this is the fourth bauble you've been into. You already know that they're kind of extra-dimensional spaces, Grandma. And you've kind of got a different sense from several of them. So, you know that the rock space was a completely different dimension. They didn't interact with this at all. You knew that the Colosseum seemed to have just kind of been a separate space, and it created images of you. You know that the Medusa's one almost felt like it was like backwards in time. So when he says that, and you kind of are piecing things together here, you have a feeling that these are spaces Kwalish himself has created more than real spaces. So these are kind of like his own pocket dimension or spaces he has created. So this is kind of why you didn't understand where the king was a kingdom of, because it didn't exist within this space. The kingdom hadn't been defined. He was just a king that Kwalish had created to have fun with. So when he says he doesn't know much about Kwalish and he just trusts him completely, that kind of triggers in your head like, oh, This is just one of Kwalish's creations, something he was experimenting on to mess with and have fun.
Oh, I don't know that information yet.
Upon learning this, Grandma will try to will herself back to the apparatus.
You guys watch as Grandma disappears.
Oh, we're going back. I go back too.
Going back.
Yep, Missy disappears. Motete disappears. Remark Gerhardt, y'all return back to.
Gerhardt does a very overly exaggerated bow and flourish before he disappears.
Court dismissed. As you guys disappear.
Whoa.
Wrong map.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was new.
Fascinating. Kwalish is a very interesting person.
Why is my music not playing?
I think there's the clock.
Oh, there's another bauble here, isn't there?
Yeah, we went in the
Yeah,
orb.
the
We haven't
diadem.
gone in the
Oh, yeah.
diadem yet.
That's right. Well, collect them all.
Okay, so you guys walk over to the diadem. The diadem turns black on this girl's forehead, and you jump into the portal. It flashes white. Suddenly, find yourself in a ballroom. All around you are glass figures, very similar to the ones that are all throughout the cities. But these ones are moving. They are, in fact, dancing. You hear music in the background playing, and the nobles of these glass statues are kind of dancing with one another. They don't seem to pay any attention to you. They're not aggressive in any way. As you guys kind of like go and even speak to them, they don't respond. If you bump into them, they will kind of pretend like they didn't even bump into you. They seem to be non-responsive at all. They're just glass statues dancing to the music endlessly.
Do we recognize any of them?
Give me a history check.
History. Oof.
You do not recognize any of them.
I will get out of my comfort zone, and if you wouldn't mind, he reaches out a hand says, to dance.
With a statue or with grandma?
Grandma.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love you, honey.
So start dancing.
Gerhardt shrugs and reaches out for Misty.
I take his hand gladly.
Why don't you all go ahead and give me a performance check? With advantage. We'll say you're all helping each other.
This movie. Holding each other up.
With advantage, so I need one more in there. Okay, 15 for me.
Hey!
All right.
Left feet.
I'm very grateful like a cat.
Yeah.
So,
Grandma is
Misty
definitely
and-
leading.
yeah, Misty and Gerhardt are having a wonderful dance. You immediately step in. The glass statues actually kind of make space with you within the ballroom, so that you actually continue your dance. You both look like you've trained in a royal court, perform very well. Motete, you kind of are tripping over your feet. You're trying to lead, but Grandma, you see that Motete is kind of struggling with leading. So you kind of ease him into his lead, and together you two are able to actually pull together a decent-looking dance, and it's actually quite sweet. That Motete's struggling just a little bit, but Grandma, you're helping him out, and that you guys both get the hang of it then at that point. is a definite dance macabre.
I don't think I spelled that right, but
Perhaps you should lead, man. I'm not very good at this.
Oh, my bones really only let me do the waltz these days, but you know, they seem to be going slow, so we'll blend right in. Just follow my steps.
oh yeah, I spelled it right, and I included the C for a pun. Dance. What called?
Yep, I got it.
Nice.
Okay, anything else you guys would like to do in this pocket dimension?
Yeah. After
Search
dancing,
it?
group high five. Yeah, let's search.
So you guys search through. You find you're not able to leave the ballroom room. At this point, assuming Grandma has kind of explained to you what she has discovered herself, you realize that the extent of this dimension room is only this ballroom. You search through the area, and there's something of value. There's some food here and there that seems to be untouched. A lot of it is actually glass for aesthetic, and some very fancy chairs, but nothing else magical of value.
All right. That was a lot of fun. I haven't danced like that in ages. Let's head back out and add these to our collection. Right? Yeah.
Seems we have exhausted this.
And everyone
I
returns
wonder
back
if
to the
these are
apparatus.
just places. If these are just places that he goes when he wants amusement. So this is just this room, and he feels like he wants to have a party, and then he has a party.
Must be. Geralt also wills himself back.
Okay. I assume everybody wills themselves back, so.
Oh, Remar, don't be sad, honey. I'll dance with you next time, I promise.
Oh, not at all, Grandma. I am not one for dancing in the loose. Given that we have collected these items, I heard someone mention earlier that they were interested in the clock tower. Shall we go explore that?
I'm game.
Also, DM, does
Yes.
Remar notice any significant change in the time of day from when they go in and when they come back to the baubles?
Give me a survival check.
Gotcha.
You don't notice any like significant time advances as you guys jump in or jump out. And also like when you leave, some of you leave first, others leave later. There's not like a huge time difference between when you leave and when people return either.
Well, that's good. Very comforting. From within the apparatus, can I discern if, as we're making our way to the clock tower, if this is a building of significance or just a another, like one of these standard buildings?
You take a look at that building as you walk by, and you notice there's actually a light coming from it.
Perhaps on our way back from the clock tower, we should check out that direction.
That's the first light that we have seen, yes?
Yes.
The first indication of anything. So maybe that would be
Beyond the Kraken.
yes. Oh. Where you want to go?
So you notice this light, you point it out to everybody else, then you head up to the clock tower. You climb to the top of the clock tower, and you notice that the minute hand, each of the hands have kind of like a circle at the end of them to kind of dictate the time. So it's like a long point with a circle at the end that points at like the 1 or 2. The clock tower is still ticking. You can hear like a tick, tick, tick coming from inside of it. So you can kind of judge if this is actually the correct time. But you notice that the minute hand, while the rest of the hands are all made of glass, is in fact a babel.
Ooh.
The entire hand of the battle?
The circular bit at the end of the hand.
Okay. I was going to say that would be a bit big to try. Shall we try this one out? Or should we explore that light first? Or is this the source of the light being that you were talking about? It's just reflection off the bottle.
No, the light's coming from this building here.
So we didn't detour to where the light was. We still went to the clock tower.
I was going to say, Remart seemed to have discerned that not a whole lot of time is lost when we enter these pockets and exit them, and we can verify that by checking the time before we go in and then after we come out. But I would say we should just go into this minute hand while it's here.
Good with me.
I agree.
Okay.
Garrett makes note of the time on the clock when we enter.
Time on the clock is currently 1:05. You connect the apparatus to the babel and enter it. When you do, a flash of light, similar to every other babel you've entered, and you find yourself sitting once more in the apparatus of Kwalish, but your surroundings around you have completely changed. All around you are clockwork beings, modrons, surrounded by machines of various sizes, buildings all over you. Everyone give me a history check. Misty and Motete, as you guys look around, you kind of recognize that the area around you is completely made entirely of clockworks, mechanisms, machines, and you recognize it as similar to the descriptions you've heard of the plane of Mechanus.
I relate that.
I know that they are orderly, but I do not know anything more about them. All I know is that they're little...
Mechanism out of my purview.
Motete, Misty, are either of you aware if this domain belongs to a particular deity?
There's something that made all of these little things, but I don't know. I don't remember the name, and I don't remember what... I just remember this is like a orderly place.
I would like to use Divine Sense, DM.
Okay. How many have you used today?
I've used 2 of my 4.
Okay. You do Divine Sense, you don't sense anything divine.
Okay.
No celestials, undead, or fiends.
Okay.
Anything else you guys like to do?
Do the Modrons seem to notice us? Or they just go about their business?
They do. A couple of them are kind of stopping and looking at you. They're not really like coming up to comment to you or anything. You notice that there's ones that look like triangular prisms. A couple of them that look like cubes with arms and legs. A lot of them have multiple different kinds of legs that kind of correlate to the shape that they are. The
Wasn't
three-dimensional
there
shape.
Wasn't there a Modron that the cartographer employed?
Yes. I don't remember his name.
His name is Gearbox.
Zero box.
Anything in the area?
Nothing really of major interest in the immediate area. If you'd like to explore, you can.
Okay. I will.
Okay. Are you gonna try and leave the apparatus, or are you gonna move the apparatus around?
Move the apparatus around.
Yeah. So you start moving the apparatus around. As you do, you're able to kind of like navigate through the city. Based on your teachings, you realize this is Sigil. Is that the capital of Mechanus?
It's where? Sorry, my headphones are cutting in and out.
The Sigil, is that the capital of Mechanus? There's like a big city in Mechanus, so I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's not Mechanus. That's the that's somewhere else, but I can't remember.
You're thinking of the
Sigil-
Outlands, the
I think it's
neutral
like a-
territory.
City between the plains, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's off of a different plane. It's not in a.
It's in the
Background.
Outlands.
I don't do a whole lot of planescape stuff.
Oh, I'm misremembering what Sigil was then. I don't remember what the capital of Mechanus is. Mechanus is like a special capital city. It's the capital city of Mechanus. But you kind of move through the city. It's got, pretty standardized city stuff. The Modrons don't seem to be bothering you too much. A couple of them kind of comment and point at you, but they all speak their own mechanical language. You don't understand anything they're saying. You see that there are marketplaces and large, huge war machines. What are they called? Maruts. Wandering around. Everything is mechanical and robot-y. You don't see any other humanoids throughout the place.
You said they don't speak a language we understand.
They speak Modron language. Regulus is the capital of Mechanus. At the center of the town, you see there's a large, great tower.
Does it appear to be a clock tower?
No.
Should we?
Like a skyscraper.
Do we see anything that seems to be a marketplace?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't we go see if there's anything of interest worth buying here?
Do they accept gold piece currency here?
Can't really find out without asking. We also haven't let them actually see that we're humanoid at this point, have we? Because we've been in the apparatus the whole time.
That's true.
Yeah, so you navigate the apparatus over to a nearby marketplace. You see the Modrons are kind of doing very fast trades. Like the queues are incredibly quick as they just come up, trade, and leave. They operate very quickly, their machine.
Does there appear to be a weapons stall of any sort?
You do see that nearby there is a large 5-armed Modron who is selling many different swords. He's also carrying 5 swords himself.
I'm going to particularly keep an eye out for anything that looks like a mechanically made hand crossbow.
Okay.
Do I see anyone selling anything of that sort of nature beyond the gentleman with the swords?
Yeah, I would say that there are mechanical crossbows. at one of the stalls. There's no wood attached to them. They kind of like clockwork mechanics instead. They shoot like these nails instead of actual bolts.
Pepe, if you could maneuver close enough, I might attempt to see if I could purchase one of those.
Very well.
So you move the
Yes.
apparatus of Kwalish over to the stand.
Is there a way to verbally communicate through the apparatus Kwalish?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna pull out. What would be the cost of one of those mechanical crossbows? Of course, forgetting the fact that they don't speak the same language we do.
What did I say? This was a pentadrone. It responds in a weird clicking, whirling voice. It doesn't seem to understand you.
Are you guys okay if I attempt to exit the apparatus for a moment?
Sure, just do so at your own risk.
Understood. I would like to float out on my broom.
Get hurt, holds his breath.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Okay. You stand up to the exit. You go to pull the lever to open the door. And that's what will end our session.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's...
You guys did a lot more exploring than I was expecting you to. I was actually kind of expecting to finish today, but you got really interested in the babbles and searching them out and exploring them, so ended up going a little bit longer. That being said, unless things go ridiculously crazy next week, we will finish next week.
Okay.
We'll do our best.
With that in mind, do you want me to go ahead and burn that one question to get us the entry into the laboratory so that we can move it along next session when we start up?
Oh,
It's up to you. You can
Next
burn
week.
whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna use it or lose it, so might as well.
Yeah, if next session's last session, then I'm also going to attempt to banish the ooze at some point. So,
Yeah, might as well.
this will be fun to see.
Cool.
Good session, guys.
All right, I'll see you guys
Yeah.
next week.
Catch you
Yeah,
next week.
have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, that is where stream will be ending today. If anybody's actually watching, it's fine. So I will be back next week for another Kwalish. If you're interested in seeing the end of this campaign next week, but I will be streaming every day except for Sunday until then, doing a mix of Final Fantasy XIV and D&D. Particular, I am starting a real cool new Theros campaign on Saturday that I will probably be really excited about. It's gonna be a fully webcam campaign, so if you're interested in that, watch that. I will be back tomorrow for FF14T raid.